Good morning. Welcome back. This is Daybreak, and thank you for staying with us. In studio, Robert Mbui, the Kadhiani lawmaker, Elizabeth Kailemia, the woman MP Meru County, and Nabina Bwera, MP Lugari constituency. And we are discussing the politics of shares and the papers and the highlights that are contained therein, and the statements made by the country's political leadership who are spending time with what they love best, their politics. The head of state is in Nyanza for his final day, while the deputy president was in Meru on Saturday and was in Kapsabet in Nandi County yesterday on Sunday, where he defended and said he is non-apologetic about statements he made on Saturday on the shareholding question. And here is what Rigathi Gachagua said in Kapsabet in Nandi County on defending his position about the increment of the shareholding capacity from the current 47% to 60% by next election.
To demand and to insist that those who believed in William Ruto and supported him to a man have every right to benefit immensely from his government. I have no apology at all. And if that can bring a problem, so be it. For now, there are certain positions ambaye itakuwa ni ya wale watu walimuamini William Ruto, walikubaliana na mipango yake ya kubadilisha Kenya, walimpigia kura na walionesha mapenzi kwake. Those positions I continue to insist.
And Honorable Elizabeth, that was in defense of the statement he made in your county on Saturday. Do you agree with him? That
well, first of all, I want
a right.
Some clarification. Okay. When I said enemies, I didn't mean in terms of political alliances or even members of parliament. I was just taking it off the parliament. It's not necessarily who we are working with. I would like to say that people have independent minds. Yeah. The deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, has a different mind from the president. So I think by his statement, people assumed that that was the president's mind. But then the president also spoke his mind about the shareholdings. I don't know why it's taking up so much time in the media or in the public about shareholdings. Like I said earlier, it's just something that happens all the time. If you go to eastern Kenya, Kamba tribe, you find Mheshimiwa Kalonzo Musyoka is the head of Wiper. And if you didn't have a Wiper ticket, it would have been very difficult for you to get into parliament, to be elected. And he's talking about Centro, and people are making noise about Centro. But if you didn't get a UDA ticket, it would have been difficult. Of course, there are even ODM members of parliament in Centro, or even UDA in Cumberland, or even in Kisumu. Or some association, let's say Kenya Kwanza. So I think we are talking about things which just happen to everybody. It's just not that people don't know that there's a shareholding. Maybe it's the term that is being used, but it's really true. That's our nature. That's Kenya. So we cannot just pin it just because it's Rigathi Gachagua who is talking about it. Then it looks so evil. But it happens with the supporters of Mheshimiwa Kalonzo Musyoka. It happens with the ODM party leader, or Azimio party leader. It happens with Jubilee. It happens everywhere. So I don't think there's anything that is too big that he said that has not been seen or even been said by anybody else. It's just that now he just spoke the truth. But that's what happens in every region.
Okay, but what about Elizabeth? It's not Rigathi Gachagua, it's the deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua. I mean, if you equate him to Kalonzo Musyoka, or Raila Odinga or any other political player, they hold no state office, neither do they have the mandate of the Kenyan people. Here is an occupant of the office of the presidency who ought to be promoting national unity. But isn't it condescending when he says that it's the right for the people who voted for Kenya Kwanza to get government benefits first?
Well, for me, maybe it's strong, because, like you say, it's it should be uniting all the sectors in Kenya, all the areas in Kenya. But saying that about shareholding doesn't mean Central Kenya. There are people who elected president in Eastern. There are people who voted the president in Western. Now there's even that coalition of Kenya Kwanza. So really, there are also shareholders in Western Kenya. There are some shareholders also in Luo Nyanza. So it doesn't mean that it's central. I think that's where the mistake is. People, when he talks about shareholdings, they are thinking it's maybe Kikuyus and maybe Kalenjins, but that's not the fact. Shareholding is those who voted for this government.
What about
because you believed in them.
Okay, simple example. You are the Mama County, Meru,
yes.
Meru County. And it's a democracy. There are those who voted for you and that you are representing and that you are enjoying that mandate. And there are those who didn't. And you had fundamental disagreements, I'm sure. And that's democracy. In serving the people of Meru County, would it be fair if you stand on a podium and say that it's every right of all those who voted for me in Meru County that you will enjoy services first, as compared to those who did not?
Did he really say services or employment?
Well, he said it's every right for those who voted for Kenya Kwanza. I mean, in government, it's in appointments, in heads of states and corporations, other government agencies, it's in cabinet portfolios. I mean, government is huge. I mean, would it be fair then to give you that example, for you to stay on a podium, say in Tigania, in Meru, and say those who voted for me will enjoy or will have every right to benefit from my leadership as Honorable Elizabeth Kailemia than those who did not?
What does right mean here? Yeah, they have a right, like everybody else, but it doesn't mean that because you didn't vote for me, I wouldn't bring development. It's not like you miss out on anything, but like we say, surely it's if my sister or my brother, you know, they are closer to me. If there's anything that I should give, I think about them first. I also think about my supporters, but I will not discriminate when it comes to development. Even jobs, I cannot give somebody a job just because I'm related or they voted for me. But it's just a matter of saying, it's just natural, like I said. If you go to Mheshimiwa Mulen's place, you know, Kalonzo will look at him first before he looks at my brother here on this other side.
But Kalonzo does not enjoy state authority, to be clear, because we are talking about the Deputy President of Kenya, Honorable Elizabeth, and who ought to be, whose office ought to be the promotion point of national unity and a language that appeals to all Kenyans. That's why he enjoys that mandate. I mean, is it fair for him to say that those who voted for the Kenya Kwanza administration have every right to benefit from the...
He has explained himself. Yeah. So I don't think we can belabor that so much. Yeah. He has every right to say what he said, and he said, you heard. I have no apologies to make. He has no apologies to make. And I can't really speak for him, because he knows exactly what he's saying. He's in the government. He's the deputy president, like you say, and he exactly knows why he's saying that.
Yes, he exactly knows what he's saying that. He exactly knows why he said that. But what he said, the substance matters here. That's why I'm pushing you on this, so that we get clear answers for us to promote our democracy, for us to grow our country. We all have different responsibilities as a media practitioner and as you, the lawyer, the leaders in this country. I mean, is it right? Because look at the president, for example. He said it's primitive and backward for anybody to imagine that any region of Kenya cannot get development on account of how they voted for. That is not correct. Do you agree with the president?
I do agree with him.
Do you agree with the deputy president?
Yes, too.
Both of them?
Yeah.
But they seem to be saying different things.
No, they are not saying anything different.
Okay, this is what Gachagua said, to quote him.
You see, you are just taking one sentence and just magnifying it.
Can we repeat?
Just one. Yeah, about stakeholding. I mean, can't you look at it in another way instead of looking at it like in a selfish manner? Yeah. You know, we are looking at it like he's saying, okay, only my people are going to get jobs, only my people are going to... No, no, I don't think so. He's just saying that they have a right. No, you can't be somebody who would like, I don't want to use enemy, otherwise Mheshimiwa Muli will take me on that again.
Okay.
But it's, I mean, surely somebody was with you, stuck with you, did everything for you, and then you go and, you know, Tell me, okay, how would you asked him, how would he do differently? I would like to know what
I
had what Mheshimiwa Mule said, but I would like to hear.
Yes, let me hear from Mbui.
That the Honorable Mule is MP for Matungulu.
I know it's Matungulu.
Mbui.
Mbui MP for Katani.
Oh, Mbui, sorry, I'm sorry.
Yes,
sorry.
Yes, please, Honorable Mbui. To this question of how then can, because the question of systematic state exclusion has been prevalent in Kenya in successive administrations, where some communities and regions were deemed not productive, or rather there was no government focus as such on them. In 2023, in contemporary Kenya, under a new constitutional dispensation, we still are struggling as a country with the problem of sharing the cake. When will this debate come to an end? Because the perpetual continuity of it, it's that it will have a disastrous effect on our economic growth.
I'll say this, my belief is that the day Parliament steps up and takes its mandate with the seriousness that it deserves, and we start being forthright and we start being able to tell the executive that this is excessive and this is wrong, that is the day we will start healing the nation. The Honorable Women Rep for Meru is very scared of making a decision here because she wants to support the DP, she wants to support the president. They are saying different things, and she says they are saying the same thing. Are you in agreement with the Daily Nation then that Kenya Kwanza is falling apart? Because the Daily Nation says they are speaking different things. They are not saying the same thing, basically based on what they are saying to us. But I think the day parliamentarians and members, people who are elected, start speaking for their people, Ayub, that is the day we'll start healing the nation. The day we'll be able to tell the Deputy President, Your Excellency, please do not divide Kenyans anymore. And you speak from a member from Meru, from Kiambu, from Moranga, from Nyeri, then you will start realizing that Kenyans are in agreement to work together. It is interesting, Ayub, that at the National Assembly, parliamentarians are friends from across the region. Very good friends, very great friends. But the minute it becomes political and the leaders get involved, suddenly there's a huge division. So I think for me, the buck stops with Parliament, because that's a body that brings together Kenyans from every corner. A fisherman from the lake, another fisherman from the ocean, a herder from from Rift Valley, maybe someone, a pastoralist from Northeastern. When all these people come together, then they can unite and speak as one for the nation. And they must be able to tell the executive or call the executive to order. That's my opinion. Okay, yes, Honorable Nabi, briefly before we cross over to the other topic.
I have 4 things to say on this. The first one is that, Ayub, why do the president and deputy president take an oath of office? If we get to understand what that oath says, the affirmation in the oath, then we should not be having this debate. Then my sister here would not be saying what she's saying. In that oath, the most cardinal thing is that the deputy president swore to protect the Constitution. My brother, to protect the Constitution, including Chapter 10, Article 10, and including Chapter 6 on leadership and integrity. And all we are saying is that the spirit of shareholding is not contemplated in the Constitution. Because Kenya is a democracy. And in a democracy, once you are elected, you lead and share with everybody within the boundaries of Kenya. Right? Now, that's number one. You've asked ably, Ayub, that systematically over the years there has been discrimination. And the situation is worse today. Today, in some counties, we have a shortage of teachers up to 10,000. In some other 3-4 counties, they have excess teachers. And they continue to employ just like that. If you are to look at the infrastructure in this country, you will cry. If you are to look at the budget of Ministry of Water, and I specifically challenge anyone with a different opinion. Yes. If you are to look at the budget of the Ministry of Water, Mount Kenya region takes 72% of all the water. Oh my God. I would understand if that went to Northeastern. I would understand. But, you know, but that's what it is. That's what the Deputy President is saying. That because they are a majority shareholder, then they will have a... Look at the economic empowerment programs. Even these visits with the President. If I were to say he came to Western Kenya, other than launching aggregation centers that they are in partnership with county governments, tell me one major project he did. He has been in Nyanza. Other than the projects that were started by the Jubilee government, show me one that is in this new budget that was not part of that. All we are saying, can we leave the Constitution? That's all I'm saying.
Live by? Not
by the Constitution, yes. Can we live by this Constitution?
Okay.
If we live by this Constitution, we will not have issues.
Thank you.
We will grow the democracy. We will ensure the progressiveness of this country, which is enshrined in the Bill of Rights, is all what we get for each and every person in each and every part of this country. And it will grow democracy. What I want to say, there is no permanent situation, by the way. All what we need to imagine at every one time is that today you'll be in government, tomorrow you'll be out of government. Mm-hmm. So if we continue with this issue of shareholding, then the clamor for dividing this country into enclaves will continue. And that's not what we want. We want a unitary state with a nationhood culture.
Thank you. And let's now proceed and get the other aspect, and which is the next stop is Parliament, according to Professor Kithure Kindiki, the Cabinet Secretary, Interior and National Administration, on the deployment of Kenyan police officials to Haiti in the